Hi, my name is Jace Bowen. This is From Struggles to Success and how I apply OB to my baseball team and my college baseball career. So, what was the main issue we faced as a team? A little bit of background. My freshman and sophomore year, we had a very talented group of guys, but we were all relatively new to each other. There weren't many returners coming back to the team, and there was a big freshman class and a few transfer students to sprinkle on top of that. Well, this caused a few problems. We came in, we were the number 2 overall recruited class in Division II baseball. We knew we had the talent there, but we just weren't meshing. There was a lot of internal conflict, lack of communication, and poor leadership overall from the top. That includes the coaching staff, but more importantly, the seniors and the veterans in the clubhouse. This caused team dysfunction due to poor communication and leadership. Like I said, poor leadership and unclear roles. We all didn't really know what our personal roles were going to be to help bring the team together and pull on the same side of the road. It was kind of a lot of chaos in the beginning. There was fighting, arguing, and this lasted for 2 years, really. A bunch of frustration built up, and we just didn't know how to handle it. And it kind of connects to OB. It's hard to navigate diverse team dynamics when you all come from different places, and managing the power imbalances within each other just didn't mesh, on top of the poor leadership. So what OB concepts will I be focusing on? Well, first off, team cohesion. We struggled with that. Self-determination theory, or SDT, and transformational leadership. I chose these because they help explain the breakdown and the eventual turnaround that our team experienced. Team cohesion. The extent to where a team members stick together and remain united. We didn't have that. If something went wrong, we would turn our backs on each other and things just wouldn't end well. Secondly, SDT, or self-determination theory. Motivation is strongest when people feel together, competence, and relatedness. And we couldn't have been more far apart on each one of those things. We weren't confident in each other, and most of the time we weren't confident in ourselves. We showed up beat down with not a lot to expect. And lastly, transformational leadership. Leaders inspire and motivate through vision, support, and connection, and our leaders did not. They were more there to bring you down and make themselves feel better rather than leading by example, building culture, and showing a vision. So how did SDT apply to the team? Well, we didn't feel ownership at first. Nobody felt like North Georgia was theirs. It was a bunch of individuals playing together rather than one team playing for individuals. We lacked confidence and chemistry. Guys, what was wrong with the team dynamics? Guys didn't work very hard like they should. There was more extracurricular activities being focused on that shouldn't have been, such as partying and whatnot. And this created cliques or different groups where people would branch out and only hang with a certain crowd, and it created a trust issue with the entire team. And this is how leadership failed. No direction, no motivation from the upper class, and even in some instances, the coaching staff. Roles were not clear, and that's a big thing with a bunch of new guys. You need to know what's your job and what you need to do. Another thing that was a problem was social loafing. Social loafing is when you put less effort in like when you're with a group than you would if you were an individual. You think more people are going to pull harder on the rope, so you don't have to pull as hard. And clique behavior, like I had previously mentioned, a bunch of subgroups that just undermine unity. All right. The turning point, the positive change, what was that? Well, it all changed junior year. Juniors, such as myself, and seniors, we'd been playing with each other for a long time, and we decided that we'd had enough losing. We stepped up, led by example, and created accountability, which wasn't there previously. How did this leadership shift? Well, it became transformational. In OB, this is a type of leadership, and we didn't know what we were doing then, but this is what it turned out to be. We had a team vision, which is an aspect of that. Positive reinforcement, we weren't bringing each other down, we were picking each other up. And setting the tone and setting culture. How did this work out for us? What were the results? Well, we ended up becoming conference champions, something that we hadn't done in 7 years. We made a regional, and we had the most conference wins in school history, single season that is. And on top of that, the culture improved drastically. So, what are 3 things a team could do to avoid what we had to go through and what we had to learn? Well, first off, as a coach, you could lead sessions to clarify roles. Sit down with the seniors, the leaders, and really make sure everybody knows what path they're going to take and what their role is. Peer accountability. As a team, we should have held each other more accountable, maybe getting a buddy, doing a buddy system and whatnot. And lastly, have team meetings to shape our goals. Whenever things are getting off track, we should have reined it all in, got on the same page, and held one goal and one focus. And I mean, these 3 tips really could have saved us 2 years of frustration and struggle. What could get in the way of this working? Well, in every team, teammates can get in the way. Some that aren't willing to change, have too much pride. We would call these cancers. Negative attitudes come with this, especially if results aren't immediate. And what's the risk of pushing for unity? Well, first off, it can lead to burnout. We had a few people get burnt out. They didn't want to do it anymore, and they quit. And others felt too much pressure and weren't able to perform at the level that they should be performing at, which caused us to struggle. And a tip when dealing with this is just to be honest. Some people don't want to change, and that's just a part of leadership. It's a struggle. Biggest lesson from the experience I had. OB concepts aren't just a theory. They changed our team without us even knowing it. So what should we remember? Well, success equals trust plus leadership plus shared goals. It's not just talent. Talent's not enough. I'll always remember winning the conference and having all the success that we did, but I'll remember how we did it even more. Thank you.